folks, next match, match number 2. We got Chandler Stevens, super high power player, very high speed, very high rev, versus Zeke Bayt, a little bit more of a finesse guy. Look at that. It's just silly. The amount of speed and revolutions on that bowling ball is sickening. Kid crushes on it. That's a great start. Strike there. Zeke will finish the match. A lot of these guys opting to play further inside lines. Even on the fresh, a little bit of hang spots to the right. Try to move your ball away from it. You don't want to be too far to the right. Picked up nice, very forward roll. Tilt. Zeke's got a hand that can really tilt it. Get his axis facing upward towards the ceiling, so his ball scoots down the lane pretty good. That motive pride in his hand. Super clean through the front, real controllable. See if he can make a run. Zeke's always had a really solid game. Can be a little bit of a hothead fluster type bowler every once in a while, just like we all are. That's how bowling is. It can get to you. But when his head's in it, he's throwing good shots. He's tough to beat. Kid throws it good. He's real big on the pendulum swing. He likes to really drop it into the swing, just swing it back nice and free. That one got going up the lane a little bit too much. Paid the ultimate penalty. It's not fun. Shooting at these spares, you certainly would rather leave a 3-6 than a 3-4, 7, 6-7. Very good effort at that. Somehow didn't even take a single one of them out. Now that was impressive. That is one of the more difficult things to do. To shoot a pin across, hit both pins, and not knock a single one of them over. That's incredible. Only a Zeke Bayt can do that. Chandler using a solid bowling ball. Power torque. With his high speed, high rev, he can get it through there. So he can get away with that, and that solid bowling ball is going to blend for him. It's not going to overreact off the dry. This is going to be a really tough spare on this type of condition. It's not something you want to shoot at when they're tough like this. I can't imagine it'll be too big of an issue. He even changes balls, something that's going to curve a little bit more. Make sure it gets there. That looked like a dark web. Something that was going to pick up a little bit more down lane and not be so smooth, so that way you can get that back ahead. That was a pretty good spare. Now he'll switch back. He'll go to that power torque and see if he can't get it into the right zone. Chandler's definitely one of those guys, when the pattern's a little shorter with more hook and he can play further right, you don't want to bowl against him. Let's see, and that's where you run into the problem with using those bigger, stronger balls. Even with the higher speed, they still hook early. So you still kind of have to open your angle up a little bit. Somebody like him, I would think that a really good option would be a lower diff solid ball. So, but what do they have in that line? Maybe like a conspiracy scheme would be okay with them. That's a great spare right there. Very good spare. Maybe a conspiracy scheme, a black raw with a stable layout on it would have been good for him in this situation. Something symmetrical maybe. I'm trying to think of what else is in Brands Brunswick lines. He's a Brands Brunswick staffer, so I'm not sure what else he could use. Have to think about that for a minute. Zeke Bayt up on the right lane. That looks pretty good. See, and that just delayed. That's the problem. That's what I saw most of the week was after a shot that overhooked, your next one just kind of labors and never gets around the corner. The adjustments on shots like that are just difficult to gauge. Not really sure what to do most times when those things happen. That's why a lot of guys opt into super stable bowling balls to try to give you more predictability of what your ball's going to do. Pride is a stable bowling ball, a stable symmetrical pearl, but the pearl is what makes it maybe a little bit over under, and I think that's what makes the pearl bowling balls definitely gave you the speed sensitivity. You get a little bit too slow, they don't jump off the corner. Get a little bit too fast, and they just kind of scoot past it. But with all the friction in the front, you didn't really have much of a choice but to use something that was going to be cleaner. So you just had to deal with it. That's why scores were low. Are low. Let's see if he can come back over here and make a good shot after that first frame over here that overhooked. That seems to be the typical miss there after a big split through the middle. Gets one going a little bit too far right, and just two pins. But luckily, it's just a two pin. It could have been a whole lot worse. 210 there, disastrous. Makeable, but still puts an awful lot of pressure on yourself, and then you really fall behind. Should be a pretty easy to conversion here for Zeke. I'm not sure I'm a fan of his ball choice right now. Thought it looked good that first frame, but now we've got 3 frames in a row that have given him a little bit of over-under reaction. I really didn't like it on lane 4. Lane 4 looked like it almost sped up when it got down lane and bailed for that spare. What did he leave in the third frame? I don't remember what he left, but I think it was another 2-pin. So now Chandler's up. He's sticking with that power torque. See if he can get one online here. He's got a push. He snowplows it. Benefits of speed and power right there, folks. Off hits like that. High likelihood of still leaving something makeable. And a little bit more likelihood that it has a chance to strike still, even when you throw it bad. Yeah, now he's going to change balls. He's going to pull out that dark web. It's probably going to force him to go a little bit further left because of the angle the dark web creates. I don't think he has a choice because he knows if he goes left with that power torque, it's not going to make the corner. Let's see what he's got here. Much further left. Much bigger angle. So I think that's a pretty good ball change, but we'll see how speed sensitive that makes it for him. That ball reaction was good. Zeke does have 2 different prides up on him. You don't see, but he's going to switch to a Venom Shock. Really super tall pin. Really tall pin. Got to be like maybe a 0 or a 10-degree pin. He might be hoping that it just kind of gives him that hook stop type shape. Because Venom Shocks, believe it or not, they have a pretty strong cover on them. They were pretty responsive. That's a much better ball reaction. I like that a lot. Very, very good shot. That was pretty impressive. Those 2 good ball changes right there by both players. We'll see how it happens the rest of the match. See if they can keep repeating those types of shots. That's the hardest part. Knowing what to throw and making the shots are 2 different things. These guys are in the finals for a reason. They obviously made good choices this week. Let's see what happens over here on the left lane. Zeke 2-pin over here. right again, but it picks up. Picked up a little bit of being a little bit to the right, gets it going behind the head pin and wraps that 10. What you will notice, and I think a lot of you can relate to, is a lot of people, because of the ball return, when you get up on the left lane, it's much easier to miss to the right on the left lane than it is on the right lane. Something about the ball return being there on the right lane makes you keep your feet a little bit straighter. And on the left lane, some people do walk just a pinch more to the left. They end up 1 or 2 boards to the left, and it opens your angle up just a little bit. Your tendency is to miss right on that left lane without the ball return there. That's another crucial mistake. You cannot do that in match play. Very, very difficult.
Nice slip.
That was a problem too. The corners here are very slippery. If you start slipping shooting spares, it makes you very, very difficult to keep it on line. These are old wood approaches, so they can be spotty. See, that's what I'm talking about. So on the right lane, he shuts it down. On the left lane, he had no problem opening it up. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does on the right lane again in 2 frames. But that ball is so much higher response than the ball he was using before. See how much of a problem that missed spare is going to be for Zeke. If he doesn't miss that spare, we've got a much closer match here. No, we've got a problem here. We got lane 4 racking on its own all of a sudden. Let's see if it does it a 3rd time. Hopefully not. Might have to make a score correction here and get that out of there. See if I can help him out. Get that out of there. That one done. Hopefully it doesn't rack itself again. And it's going to. It's going to keep doing it. We got issues. Four keeps auto cycling. It just keeps cycling on its own.
4 is?
Yeah.
Ball on 4. Ball on 4. Check to see if there's pins stuck underneath the
See if they get that figured out here. Get back to the match. See how long it takes them to get this ball out of the back. Take a quick intermission here. We're gonna see the owner running down the side. Take a look, figure out what's blocking it and making it cycle on its own. And okay, it didn't cycle that time. But we still don't have a bowling ball, so we're still waiting on a bowling ball. They at least got the cycle issue fixed. That should be set up and ready to go. Let's see if we can get a ball back, get the action back rolling. He's got it in his hand. He's just bringing it up by hand. That's an interesting way to do it. That's delivery service, folks.
The things I want to say.
I know, right? All right. Chandler up on the left lane after the open frame. Pretty important shot here. He's got to make a good shot here to stay on track. It's close. And so he didn't have a problem opening that angle up there. That was pretty good. See if Zeke can get it together on the right lane. He threw one good on this right lane over here last time, and then not so good on the left lane. It's got a critical on. Oh my goodness, that actually picked up. That was pretty sweet. That is the ball reaction you're looking for. If you can get it that far right and still get it through the pins, that is amazing on this pattern. Most times that means you have no miss to the left. If you get it in a little bit, it's going to big four through the face. So it forces your angles open. But maybe the layout makes it stop. Maybe the layout will make it to where it doesn't react off the dry. We'll see what happens here. See if you can get all 10 to fall down. Double here puts a little bit of pressure back on Chandler, which would be good news for Zeke. That's exactly what I was talking about. Just a little bit up the lane and it's going to overreact and leave something different. It's a makeable spare, but still not a spare you want to shoot at on this pattern. It makes it real tough. These are nasty conditions. They are real hard. I'm going to leave you here to watch the action, folks, and I will be right back.
Just take it off. Yeah.
So Chandler got up and threw a huge double there. That was a very, very big double. Gives him a pretty big lead going into the 9th frame. Puts a lot of pressure on Zeke. That dang near left a 5-7. Luckily just left the 7 pin. Should be a pretty easy conversion. Keeps him on 2-0 pace. Zeke's got a max of 193. Chandler stays clean. He's going to shoot 2-0. Good spare there. 162 in the 8th, a spare in the 9th, 113 in the 7th for Zeke, with a spare in the 8th. Zeke pretty much has to do a few really, really good shots here and hope he pulls a double or a triple out. Make this a match to force a mark. It's way left. Way left. It's a good 9 right there, but unfortunately, he's just not going to win this match. He's not going to be able to pull this one out. Make this spare. Has a possibility of 182. Made that one. Hit it twice. You know you make it. You hit it twice. All right, so right now, in Zeke's mind, he's just getting ready for the next match, trying to make sure he makes a few good shots and read his ball reaction. because he's definitely not comfortable with his ball reaction. See, so there he tried to go a little bit further left. You see he's confused, and that's what I saw all week. The further left you went, especially early on, the earlier your ball would hook. It's super flat in the middle of the lane. With the way the lane pattern is, they're real flat, a lot more friction in the middle of the lane, so your ball never has a chance to go to the right. If you get it shooting to the right, you throw it to the right, it never sees it down lane, and it just kind of bails and wiggles. That's a problem. So you end up shooting at spares like this, or 2 10s. Not the most conventional way to make it, but it works. So he's going to go and grab a different ball. Take a look. As good as that ball looked on the right lane at times, again, still too responsive. I think that same ball with a much bigger first angle or third angle, bring that pin down, would actually smooth it out a little bit. Could have been a better option. He's got 2 Venom shocks on the rack, but he's going to pull out a ripcord. He's got 2 different ripcords in his hand. The blue and gold one. What was that called? The ripcord. I forget what it was called. So he's going to take one. I can't see the layout on it, but it's a cleaner cover than the Venom shock. But it is another high response down lane ball, so that could create more over-under, and he's definitely going further left. And that's what you see. You shoot it to the right, it's going to hang there. As soon as you shut that down, it's going to hook early. That's what you deal with. It's rough. Chandler's already won this match. He's going to get the 30 bonus. Now he just wants to get as much as he possibly can to try to make up some ground, because he's currently in 6th at plus 62. It's only about 40 back from second, but he's a bundle back from the lead. And see, and that's another problem with those higher response bowling balls. Even though that ball's not supposed to be higher response, whatever he did to it, the lane shine, the layout, something is making that ball pretty whippy down lane. It's not smoothing the ball reaction out. That one gets going behind the head pin, splashes 710. But he did get one to kick out when he shot at the spare the last frame. See if we can get this one to bounce out. Throws are hard enough, that's for sure. He's going to go at the 7-pin side. That one ain't going to bounce. I think he shot at the wrong side. All right, folks, that's a winner. 189. Winner over Zeke Bayt with 166. Once again, you're listening to J.R. Raymond at the PBA Farmer State Bank Roto Grip Open here in Angola, Indiana. Coming at you here for match number 3 of 8. Stay tuned.